Good morning, everyone. It's Linda G, Mel Dor, and our guest Andrew, who
Hi,
is
everyone.
who is the man that made our famous, wonderful product, which is Andro-Niki face products. It's the rave. I'm going to tell you right now. So I'm going to let Mel begin because he's the one that introduced me to Andrew, and this is my first time meeting him mano a mano, so to speak, via the computer. Okay.
Well, I've known Andrew for years. He's a friend and a client. And, the story is spiritual about how Andro-Niki got the name. Um, we talked about it and I knew it'd be phenomenal, but when it actually got to market and tried the product, it was absolutely incredible. Now, I want to say that Linda and I are not being paid to do this. We just love the product and thought it would be nice to let Andrew tell the story behind it because it is a spiritual story and how the name came about. So, Andrew, I'm turning it over to you.
Well, thank you, Mel, and thank you, Linda, for allowing me to be on your show today, and for all the support also over the last little while. It's been incredible. Your subscribers, by the way, absolutely love you. I get emails all the time from them, just raving about you, the show, and
They even wrote me and said that you went bent over backwards because they couldn't figure out how to order and you helped them, and it was great.
Well, I think there's one thing missing out of society today, and that is really good customer service. And if there is a way in which we can make that happen, because, people work hard for their money and they should be able to get what they deserve. So that's why we believe that customer is absolutely number one, and we want to satisfy everybody. But Mel, you talked about the name. People have asked me a lot about Andro and Nikki. What is it you? Um, and I'll tell you, we went through a lot of names and tried to secure a lot of names to start up a skincare brand. And a lot of the names were hijacked by people who wanted 50, 60, 70,000 dollars for the website name that they didn't have a business assigned to. And I just didn't want to do that. The story goes back quite far. When my parents were married, my father's mother had already passed away. So my mother didn't know her mother-in-law. And she was also told that it was unlikely that she would have children after a couple of miscarriages. But fortunately, she fell pregnant with me. And in her first trimester, she had a dream where a woman dressed in black with very striking features told her to name her first child after her. Now, my mother tells the story about the fact that on the first night, she didn't really think too much about this dream. But when it happened again on the second night, it sort of shook her up. And on the third night, the same reoccurring dream, she woke up my father at 2 o'clock in the morning and said, I've had this dream now 3 nights in a row. I have no idea what it means. My father said, describe the woman to me. And my mother did. My father got up, went into the closet, pulled a box of photographs out, handed her a picture of his mother and said, by any chance, is this the woman? And she, of course, you know, it was her. Her name was Andro-Niki.
Wow.
So, yes, I have Greek roots. So, when I was born, I was given 24 hours to live because I was 2.5 months premature.
Okay.
And so, of course, they were expecting for me not to survive. And like a good Greek family, when that happens, you bring in the priest and you baptize the child before it passes away. So the priest came to the hospital and, in good Greek tradition, sprinkled some water, probably short circuited the incubator, I don't know, and baptized me. Andronicus, which is the male version of Andro-Niki.
Oh,
But I go by the name Andrew, and I'm known as Andrew officially. But from a baptism name, that's my name. So fast forward to a few years ago, where we're trying to figure out a name. We wanted something that would be gender agnostic, age agnostic. We knew that we wanted to appeal to everyone across the board. There is no age limit or gender delineation. And so something with a name that is both masculine and maybe feminine together would be a good synergy. And we're coming up with names, trying to figure it out. And of course, Andro was one way to define a masculine name. And, then it all just started to make sense. And in that flash, I got this epiphany. My grandmother's name, Andro-Niki, divided into two, became Andro and Nikki. So in some way, I am honoring her. Since we branded the skincare, of course, I started to discover that she actually won a beauty pageant when she was younger. And before she passed away, she told some of her children that she felt like she had more to her life's purpose than she thought she could have had, that she could have done
right.
more purpose. And she passed away quite early. She was in her mid 50s. But there we have it. That's the story behind the name.
Beautiful.
When you came up with the Andro-Niki, that was grandmother's name. Yours Andronicus, I think.
Yes.
Right, right. Have you felt your grandmother's spirit around you at all, like getting behind you and pushing you forward with this? Or when you felt down, you wanted to give up, did grandma come through and say, hang in there? I mean, are you feeling her energy, her presence around you in this product?
Like never before. As a matter of fact, as you talk about her right now, I'm covered in chills.
Wow.
Me too.
And I do feel that even though we named her sort of as a legacy, uh, there is something about completing and fulfilling a desire that just feels very, me being a part of something bigger than myself. And that's how I've always felt about it. But I see her frequently, more than ever before. I mean, I knew she was my grandmother as a kid. I'd seen the photo, the one. Um, but yeah, I really do feel a much stronger calling and her around. And my father as well, who has passed away.
I picked up that she had an incredible sense of humor, kind of like the Greek version of an Auntie Mame, you know what I mean?
She was, from what I understand, she was a very, very strong woman, very determined, had um, a will about her that, she had six children, so she was a very, very busy woman, but she kept on top of everything.
So
Wow.
what brought the idea of the facial product? What?
Yeah, so at one stage, I was really wanting to break out and do something different. And I had been working for companies and making money for companies, earning them awards and all that kind of stuff. And one day I thought to myself, Andrew, it's about time maybe that you start doing that for yourself. And I had an epiphany one day about a skincare product. It was just skincare, and I couldn't get it out of my head. I couldn't do anything. I then had a reading with Mel, and that was quite a few years ago. And he told me a few things that I was very surprised that he mentioned it. But then I put it on the shelf. I had worked with a pharmacist and a chemist and put it on a shelf. And then in 2020, during COVID, I asked myself the same question, and the same flashback came back, that inspiration of, Andrew, it's time. And a voice in my head said, do not delay anymore. So it was time. I picked up the phone to a couple of my sisters and I said, can you help me? And they were all over it. And so they really helped to start the process of building a brand and determining what we're going to do. So I found some pharmacists, some chemists, skincare chemists, who had developed products, over 1,000 products for some of the world's leading brands. And I said to them, I want to create something that is kind of a little bit different. And to start with, I want you to help me build a moisturizer where I really want you to strip out as many of the fillers and binding agents as possible, because I want to stack it with as many of the active ingredients as I possibly can. They looked at each other, looked at me and said, Andrew, that's not what we're normally asked. I mean, we're normally asked the absolute opposite.
Yeah.
I said, no, that's why I'm here. And at that point, they sort of leant back and realized I was serious. And that's how we came up with that, plus the serums and the whole system of
The
being able
serums
to
rock.
to
You guys, and who got you the packaging idea? You did that? You guys, look at the packaging. So it
Incredible.
looks like a syringe. And then you got to click the bottom here. And then you push it down. Did you see it squirt out? And there's the product on and boy, it works right away. Right away.
Genius. I love the little, turn clip.
Yeah.
And
And it's got to smell like eucalyptus, or it's got a good smell like you're going to clear your sinuses.
So all the serums are absolutely organic, natural. There are no fillers, no binding agents in the serums whatsoever, and each serum has a different function. Now, you can use the serums on their own, just like you do, Linda,
Yeah.
but you can also add it with the moisturizer so that you start to change the functionality of the moisturizer. And by being able to do that, you also uh, eliminate the possibility that your skin could go skin blind. Skin blind is when you have the same lotion or moisturizer that you apply to your face every single day, and your skin starts to become less responsive to that because it just becomes more and more familiar.
Kind of like ex-husbands. Yeah.
Yes, that's
Get tired of it. Mm-hmm.
yeah, you could say that. You're absolutely good. So, of course, by being able to change the formulation every single day and to change the functionality any way that you need, day or night, you never have a chance to go skin blind.
Isn't that something? And my favorite, and you even gave me a little one that I can carry around with me, is the collagen.
Yeah,
Can you guys see that?
yeah. So
And
we,
what that does, that's very easy because you just press down here and you got it right there,
yeah,
ready to go.
absolutely.
And here's the other bit, you guys. I don't have to, let me tell you, I believe in this. That's why I'm telling you. Because like we said, you give me product, but I will tell you something. The price of this amazes me because I used to buy the ultra expensive stuff from Nordstrom's, and this stuff rocks, and it's not nearly the cost.
It's not going to break the bank.
No,
People think about it. Now, Andrew, are there some of the serums on back order still? Because I know it did so well that there were a few on back order. So if you want to order it, don't get uh, don't get crazed because you might have to wait 4 to 6 weeks because there is a back order. Is that correct? Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, so one of the serums right now is we're in the process of doing another big batch. And so that's our proprietary serums and moisturizer. We have a line called Everyday Products, which will be back online very, very soon. But the serums, of course, and the moisturizer are really the powerhouse for us. I will say that the the most popular kind of response we've been getting, and honestly, I have to say, I owe an enormous amount of thanks to you guys, but we honestly feel very blessed. But the kind of feedback we're getting is, I've tried a lot of other brands. They promised something, never delivered until I found you. And there have been some emails that have been like that that has nearly brought me to tears because
Yeah.
the sincerity that these emails have been delivered to me and the feeling of being able to really feel like we're on our game to be able to do something that we wanted to do, which was to create something different that was going to change the way in which people can deal with their skincare properly. I really do feel like we're there.
I'm not going to make any medical claims for it, but I've got like a little bit of eczema or something on my fingers, and my hands get really dry here in Chicago in the winter because it's so dry and cold, and they'll like bleed and crack. And the dermatologist gave me all kinds of different creams, but I use it on my face, but I also use the moisturizer and all the serums. I mix them all together for my hands. And I do
Right.
them a couple times a day. And the dermatologist, last time I saw him, he goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Let me tell you." And he was pretty impressed with it too. So I'm not
Yeah,
making
I just
medical.
had the facelift, and the doctor they have their own product. And my girlfriend just became a salesperson for that. And I showed her, not my girlfriend, but Kaiser, where I had the surgery. This is the product I use. And they couldn't challenge it.
Mm-mm.
Thank you so much.
I
I
went
do.
for I went for a consultation for a facelift, and they told me they didn't have enough equipment to pull all this off.
Mel.
What were you going to say, Andrew?
Like I said, the feedback has been really quite something, and I do feel like we're onto something, and I do feel like maybe Andro-Niki and
Yeah.
I, you know,
You mean, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
great for grandma.
we're onto something.
You do a great job. The price is excellent. And all they have to do is go to Andro-Niki,
And
ANDRO plus Nikki.
hyphen and the website is andro hyphen niki.com. And if you Google Andro and Nikki, you'll find us as
You'll
well.
find the spot. Thank you. Well, we wanted you to come on to tell the story behind it. It's a very nice story.
Thank you so much. And it's a real pleasure to have met you. It's a real pleasure to be on the show.
So,
Yeah,
Andrew,
I'm picking up your grandmother too, and she feels like she didn't mess. Like
ooh,
she maybe one of those ones that took off her shoe and you got the hit on the
Oh,
back of the
yeah,
head with a shoe.
I can imagine. My father's told me some stories like that too. And she had six kids. I mean, she was trying to
Yeah,
keep
she
them all
had to
alive,
keep it going, and she feels
you
like
know.
she was a good cook too. Because I sure
Yeah,
love
she
me
was.
some Greek food.
I'm just thinking that because I'm smelling the bread. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
fasolaki, that's the Greek green beans are
There was
incredible.
just a big good sized earthquake in Greece the other day, and we'll talk about that on the upcoming show here, Mel. There was like 10 6.0s all over, not just in one. Greece was one of them. I
Wow.
think it was in the water, but still, it was near Greece.
Yeah, I heard about that. There was no damage, fortunately, but
Good.
I think there's more coming if
That whole area is volcanic and those tectonic plates are shifting. I think that's kind of.
yeah,
Yeah,
indeed,
yeah. So,
In
indeed.
fact, yeah, because there's a lot of volcanoes, specifically Santorini, that they think that was kind of the legend of the Atlantis, because thousands and thousands of years ago, when Santorini erupted, the tsunamis wiped out the Minoans. So that whole area is volcanic, and there's
yeah,
probably some volcanic activity going on that's also creating earthquakes, I'm sure.
right. Well,
It's
thank
also
you,
probably
Andrew.
how the islands were formed.
There you go.
Thank you
Andrew,
so
thank
much.
you so much for doing this. And I'm so
No,
excited that you
it's
got
me
to.
that needs to thank you. It's me that needs to
Wow.
thank you. You don't thank me.
Now you would have taken off. Didn't matter if we were there or not. Your
I,
product speaks for itself. So
Linda, what you and Mel have done, I just want to be clear, and I hope this doesn't go on the recording. Um, you've changed my life,
wow.
and I want you to know you
And it was the people that watched. They reached out to you.
and because of your actions, something that Mel said to me in 2012 will probably come to fruition. So thank you.
Wow. It wasn't anything to do with the money he owes you, right?
And don't charge me interest, biatch, because I ain't paying.
Right. Yeah, we need to have a conversation about that. I'll call you
Yeah,
up.
yeah, that'll be good. All right, sweetheart. Will you take, bye, everybody.
Thank
Hey, everybody. So Andrew has stepped away, and we're going to continue with answering your beautiful questions you sent us.
But Linda, thank you for having him on. And I just thought that his story of how he came up with Andro-Niki and his grandmother, and he's very spiritual, and how that spirituality just morphed into this creativity and him doing his own product. So a lot of people out there can use their spirituality to help move them forward as
Yeah, a
well.
lot of people have a dream. And he really is taking off then with the product.
Yeah, it's really taken off. So it's
And
it's
it's
doing
thanks to the audience here.
thanks to the
And
everybody.
I don't know what yours is, but my peoples are usually 55 up.
Mine too. And the feedback I've gotten from the products is amazing. And
Yes.
I'd like to thank all of our subscribers and members for, giving it the opportunity. And here again, it won't break the bank. And Linda and I aren't getting paid to do this. We just
No,
love.
but it definitely is way cheaper than a lot of even some of the stuff at Macy's, or if you go to CV, or what do you call those, and where they have these Revlon or L'Oreal top brand. It doesn't work like this. Oh my God. Nothing like it.
All right, are we ready for a question?
Okay. Yes.
All
Thank
right.
you for the questions. We got almost 400 questions.
I love your hair, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I just threw it together. You know how it is. Girl's got to do what a girl's got to do.
Girl's got to do what she's got to do.
Just nobody grab the back of my head and yank, because then it's all gone. Um, are the people posing, this is from Blum, are the people posing as ICE and taking people without arrest warrants going to be held accountable?
Yes.
I saw it too.
Um, it's reminiscent of, in Nazi Germany when after the war, some of the trials, and they were like, well, we were just doing what we were told to do. Well, if
Yes.
someone tells you to do something and you know it's illegal and you do it, you're still held responsible for it.
Well, a lot of them are Proud Boys. A lot of them are hiding behind a badge like they had that ability and they don't.
Well, they don't have the ability to break the law, and that's what's going to come forward.
Yeah.
Even in the military, if your commanding officer gives you an order and that order is illegal, or if you're a police officer and somebody gives you an order and it's illegal, you have the right to say, I'm not doing it because it's illegal.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so,
they're definitely going to there's going to be a long list of them in trouble. You
huge.
know, we just need to pray and hope for the people. Look at it, a lot of people will go to jail. We just need to hope and pray for the people that are doing this, that they wake up, because it's not going to help them. When the popularity of Trump starts to fall to the wayside, we're just too much. What did he say? What did he do? If you could ignore a narcissist, that's the best thing you got going for you. I'm sorry. I'm gonna turn that off. I keep getting saying your loan is about to expire. I never asked for a loan.
Scam.
So, okay, now you take a question.
It's a scam. In fact, I'm getting them saying if you don't pay or call this number right away, it's a text message from the
Yeah,
own hallway, you're going to be arrested, and it's a scam. And then when you look at it, it's an international number. So
yeah.
if anybody gets things like that from the tollway or the sort of your loan's going to expire, it's a scam. Don't even open it. Just delete it. Okay. Um, let's see here. Um, Elaine Venditti says, will the reporters that are speaking truth and protecting our democracy be safe? MTN and others like that are constantly getting death threats, and I'm concerned for them. So they're
Big
wanting to
time.
know. I feel our reporters will be safe. I obviously the death threats are probably, well, um,
They're the
uh,
same people that are always making death threats,
right.
no matter what. But somebody just said to me energetically, we're on the precipice.
That's right.
So this about ready to fall because Trump is getting ready to fall.
You know, he's falling already. It's in increments, you know. You know
Yeah,
what I just saw when you said that, Linda? I saw him hanging onto a cliff and his fingernails are just dug in and he's trying to pull himself up. And each time he pulls himself up, he slips back a little bit further. And he's
right.
ready to fall off of that precipice, if you
Well,
will.
when he said Biden was actually dead and another person was in his place, it's so whack job that, and they're trying to keep him enclosed right now. And by the way, did you see that little rally he had? It was a nothing burger, hardly anybody there.
And you know, another one of our predictions came true about Elon Musk leaving, and I'm seeing huge issues coming between Trump and Musk.
Oh, yeah. You
Um,
know what? I kept feeling Elon Musk going back, maybe not to South Africa, but he's going someplace because there's so much trouble here for him.
I don't think South Africa would want him back.
I don't think so either.
It's going to be, you know, I don't know how it feels to be the world's most despised person, but there you go. You know, while we're on that topic, entertainment purposes only, I had this vision once again. It just hit me that other rather than electric vehicles, hydrogen power vehicles are really going to be start coming out soon, and the only byproduct is water.
Yeah,
Electric vehicles, you have to have the lithium batteries, and it takes a lot to mine lithium. It's harmful for the environment. So where I'm going with this is, my guides had shown me that Tesla, that company would boom, would tank. It's starting already, but I'm telling you, within the next year we're going to start seeing a lot of hydrogen powered vehicles, specifically in California, and then going to other states. And that is going to help bring down Tesla.
good,
That's what my guides are telling me.
good.
And I'll
Now, what
be
was your question?
okay. Um, Carrick says, thank you so much, Mel and Linda. We love you. Well, F-45 give Governor Gretchen Whitmer's attempted kidnappers a pardon. He's pardoning everybody else.
It's really
I'm not.
weird. I almost feel he won't.
No, I'm not feeling that at all. I
You know
mean,
why? Because someone's going to say, if somebody tries to get you, Mr. President, even after, if say you're no longer, and then they can just say to the person, yeah, go ahead and go home. If somebody's going to bring something up to him, that him letting someone who tried to take a legal, a government official would set a bad precedence. That's what I heard.
well, I also think what's going to happen is a lot of these pardons, once he's out of office, that there's going to be, I see a special prosecutor investigating them. And it's going to come up that a lot of these people have paid for these pardons. And if you, which is illegal. So
Right.
if you pay for a pardon, you know, that's illegal, then what happens with that pardon? So many of these pardons are going to be overturned, my guides are telling me, as a result of the investigations coming out about Trump.
Wow. Okay. Did you see Loretta Swift died?
No.
Yeah, she died suddenly. Her girlfriend, somebody said, I just talked to her the other day. She was bubbly and happy. That's the way to go.
I think she threw a clot. I think it was a heart attack. She threw a
Yeah,
clot.
I think she was 86 or 87. People are living to be older nowadays.
There you go.
Now, did you pick your question?
It's your time.
Oh, is it my time? So, Anonymous, this is from Judith, announced that they're going to release something probably in the next couple of weeks, some information. Is it huge? What is it concerning?
I feel it's huge, absolutely. And I'm feeling it's some whistleblowers coming forward um, about the shenanigans of Donald Trump. Um, I can't tell exactly what it's having to do with, but I want to tell you something. It is going to be very damning the way I see it.
Okay.
I don't know. What do you pick up?
Um, I pick up it could be relate to money, some underhandedness with money.
Right.
And
Payoffs.
and I feel it's a ooh ah kind of an energy.
I think
You keep throwing stuff at the wall and it doesn't stick, but he's about ready to stick.
he is. Um, I had this vision a long time ago. I saw all these little those little, those post-it notes, the little post-it notes. I saw, people trying to put them on Donald Trump and they would just fall off. And then I saw him with these post-it notes all over him, and they were all saying guilty, 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 guilty. So you're right. The post-it notes are going to start to stick.
Good.
Um, okay. Jackie Fraser says, "Hello, I look forward to you two on Mondays." Well, thank you. We appreciate that. Is Donald Trump going to pardon Diddy? Ooh, that's a good one. I hear yes.
I think he will too. I know I think Diddy's going to pay him enough money that he'll pardon him. It's all about the money he gets.
All about the money. When I asked that question, I got this just almost horrible cramp in my gut. And that means yes, he's going
But
to.
listen, the people that testified against him may hire somebody to take him out
There you go.
because he'll come after them.
Right. Well, Donald Trump is going to keep pardoning a lot more of these crooks. Who was the man and woman he pardoned?
Oh, somebody that stole so much money. And by the way, he's telling all these people, yeah, you don't have to pay us back.
Well, that
Like it's
pardon
his money.
that pardon will be revoked, by the way.
Oh, it will. Good.
And a lot of these people that he's pardoning under the federal system, the states are going to pick it up. This is a Mel question.
Okay.
This is a Mel question. It's about uh, the big beautiful bill, and dog tagged in there is that the courts can't hold him in contempt, and it's about something about messing with the elections or and things like that. And people are wanting to know if it'll pass. I see it passing, but I also feel that, the whole idea about courts not being able to hold him in contempt and not being able to, make sure that their orders are followed and election tampering or stuff with the elections. I see that going to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court will overturn those things. That's what I pick up. What do you think?
Okay. So the bill is totally separate from voting rights and stuff.
Yeah, and there was something dog tagged in that big beautiful bill about uh,
No, but that won't, listen, the Senate already has chopped it up and threw it out.
oh, okay. Good.
So, but here, this is my fear. My fear, of course, it has to go back to Congress.
Right.
But my fear is that he'll pitch a fit and shut the government down.
Well, if he does, here again, it's that vision I keep getting of this coffin. It looks like a gold coffin, but if you peel it back, a styrofoam underneath. And
Right.
there's a big nail, and boom, the nail is going in the coffin, and that's the final nail in the coffin. And then you know how when you pour gasoline on styrofoam, how it kind of just melts?
Yeah.
That's what I see happening. This liquid poured on this coffin and it melting, and that coffin representing Donald Trump.
I see him definitely threatening to shut the government down.
Well, if he shuts
And the thing is, he can't push for that stuff. Like he has the right to change elections and he has the right because it's totally unconstitutional. Here's my card on P. Diddy, by the way. Yes, he'll pardon him.
wow. Yep. Um, gets interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Um, okay, it's your turn.
Oh, okay.
I
I
like
want to ask about Zelensky.
I like your blouse, by the way.
Oh, this whole thing. I want to ask about Zelensky.
Okay.
What a hit yesterday.
I didn't hear what happened.
Oh my God. They had stuck some drones in some sort of trains And then they opened up the tops and they went to town and blew up a big portion of Russia's jets. It was such a shock. Putin didn't even know.
And Ukraine is going to continue to do stuff like
Well,
that.
they apparently they're hitting and hitting, but notice how they're not hitting apartment buildings or killing children. They're hitting really important military strategic. So Trump was furious he didn't know about this because you can't tell him. He would have told Putin.
Oh, he would tell Putin. It's going to escalate where Ukraine is going to continue to take out not civilians, but certain, prime structures and infrastructure. But my light bulb just went on, and I've got a sneaking suspicion that Putin might even attack some civilian places in Russia and blame it on Ukraine to make Ukraine
Oh,
look.
geez.
That's what I just picked up.
Yeah, but being that
Yeah.
that's not how he rolls, maybe people will know that
Well, it would
that's
come
not
out
how
that
he
it
rolls.
would come out that it's not true. But I have a question because I just read that Poland, uh, I think there's a president and prime minister. So I think for their president, they just elected kind of the Polish version of a MAGA. Uh,
Fudge, I thought he didn't win.
I read something about it was just narrow, was a conservative, narrow margin or something. I don't know. But I guess people are nervous about, because this guy wasn't pro EU, European Union. But I still think that he's not going to have as much power in Poland as he think he does. And I still feel that even though he might want to be friendly with Putin, the Polish people and the Polish government is going to say, we're not going to stand for Putin
Right.
interfering.
And also, how do you know Putin wasn't involved in that fake voting stuff?
I'm sure he
I'm
was.
sure he was.
Exactly. So I don't think it's going to have that much ramifications on Poland because the guy that was just elected in, I don't see him staying in office long. So
It's only like a few percentage. Let me tell you, people are going to start entertainment purposes only. A lot of people are going to start being taken out.
right. And I also see a lot of, more countries supplying Ukraine with weapons, a lot more airplanes, a lot more drones. And, I think behind the scenes, Putin is getting very nervous. Now, all of a sudden, they're having peace talks again. And Trump is going to try to jump in and make some kind of crazy offer where, once again, he can get all these minerals from Ukraine. And Putin's going to get, I'm sorry, and Zelensky, in a very polite way, will give Trump the middle finger, as he should.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
yeah. Oh, everybody was teasing yesterday. So I guess Trump didn't have all the cards. You can't do it. You don't have all the cards. Yes, he did. They said this was one of the biggest hits in Russia ever. Ever.
yes, I know. It was like huge.
It was absolutely fantastic. But I keep wanting Zelensky, and it's easy for me to say, to keep hitting. Don't stop. Keep hitting.
Well, that's a very good point, but here's what my guides show me. They'll have these sneak attacks, then they'll stop for a while, and then, it's like the crimes are the best place to do something is close to the police station.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you will? In other words, they'll hit, things will get really silent for a while, and they'll think, okay, it was a one-time thing, and boom. And I'm predicting that they already are discussing at least five more of these clandestine operations deep within Russia.
I've been saying out loud, I really felt the Ukraine had some behind the scenes stuff going on, and I felt strategic, even military type energy or assassin type energy.
I even see that there's going to be some Ukrainian attacks on Moscow, but here again, not civilian targets, um, like infrastructure, things like that. So,
Okay.
I
So is
mean,
it your turn now or my
uh,
turn?
uh,
Forget.
it's my turn.
Okay.
Okay. Um, Grizzly bear. I like that. Hey, grizzly bear.
Hey, Grizzly Bear.
Um, will we lose? Medicare as well as Medicaid as soon.
Medicaid. I don't see Medicare just yet, but he's going to be taken out before he can go all the way. And notice how Social Security is still hanging in there. That thing is so powerful.
I think they know better than to deal with Medicare and Social Security. I have to
Well,
say,
in the new bill, they're planning on cuts to Medicare too, but I'm telling you, and of all people,
right?
Rand Paul is so he said most of my constituents are on this assistance.
That's right. I have to say something about Medicare. When Gary was working, I was covered under his insurance, and I've had a lot of medical bills. And when I had the cancer surgery, I ended up paying almost 20,000 out of pocket. Since I've been on Medicare and with the supplemental, Medicare covers 80, but then with the copay supplemental, with all of this colon stuff, I haven't had one medical bill. It's all been covered.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
And so it really, I mean, I pay more for my medication, but Medicare has been incredible, and I can't speak enough about it.
Oh, let me tell you, it's I had cancer surgery, didn't pay a dime,
Oh,
nothing.
Medicare,
Well,
Medicare,
actually, I was only 50 when I had cancer.
that's why.
Yeah,
But I mean, I'm on Medicare now, and it's covered everything. So,
yeah, yeah. Oh, I was on disability, Social Security.
oh, there you
Oh,
go.
I had Medicare. Yeah.
So Medicaid, they're going to mess with. But if they start messing with Medicare and Social Security, I'm telling you, people are going to be not having it.
Yeah.
Here again, they just keep digging their own graves deeper. So, all right, it's your
So
turn.
Cat Life wants to know, can you look at Leonard Leo, the head of the Federal Society, and see how he is feeling? Taco called him a sleaze bag, and Leo helped place all the SCOTUS. He has a lot of power, but Taco is totally mad about all the judges. So he's blaming Leonard Leo. So how's Leonard Leo feeling?
Well, he's another one that thinks to himself, okay, I got what I wanted. I got my people on SCOTUS. So I've got what I wanted. So let Taco be angry. Um, but uh, I also think he's feeling a bit betrayed. Uh, uh, so it'll be interesting to see how Trump or Taco is going to go against this guy even more in the future. Um,
Well, it's, what's his name? Justice Thomas was standing there for Trump at all times, and now he's talking about the man that gives him all that money.
there you go. There you go. And
Could Justice Thomas finally start voting correctly with the Constitution?
so that is yes. And I see some whistleblowers or some leaked information coming out about the head of the Federalist Society and Trump, and it's all going to be true.
But I also see Leonard Leo, either Leonard Leo or it's Trump that's going to get head hard about something. Something's about ready to be revealed that'll totally put a tidal wave on all this stuff.
It's against Trump, uh,
Okay.
but it's something about Trump wanted to do with Leonard Leo and the Federalist Society, and it's going to be totally against Trump, and it'll be true.
Wow.
It's going to be huge.
Because I feel Leonard Leo is kind of like a mafia head kind of energy. And like he's messing with the family. So it's time for us to get him out. That's what I'm feeling.
And you're exactly right, because I'm getting cold chills going from top to bottom.
Okay, there you go.
All right. Your predictions are right on. When you do that side take, it's like, there
Yeah,
it is.
it's like they talk to me in my ear.
You got it. Okay. Um, this is a good one. Mary Sue says, um, are there blue team members, a lot or a few, secretly helping the red team and not in a positive way? I don't see that. I don't see any Democrats behind the scenes helping
Oh,
the.
yeah, they're behind the scenes. You know who broke my heart was Cory Booker,
Why? What happened?
because he's friends with Jared Kushner. And he
Um,
voted yes to get in one of Jared Kushner's people. And Jared Kushner gave money for his thing. So he's hiding right now, by the way. People are furious at him.
I didn't know that, but my
Yeah.
point is there might, I don't see that many though. There might
No,
be
no.
few, but it's not enough to make a difference. That's my whole point. But the flip side of that is I also see members of the red team, a handful behind the scenes helping the blue team.
There you go.
There'll be more people on the red team behind the scenes helping the blue team than the other way around.
Right. The ones you have to worry about, the ones that have a lot of had no money and then have a lot of money. Like that man in what was his name? Mansion and the female.
Oh
They
yeah.
were living off of bribes.
Well, Manchin, he was really he wasn't a Democrat. I mean, he says he was, and I forget her name too. Oh, I can't think of it, but she was another one. It was a Democrat in name only.
Yeah.
They were.
They went with the highest bidder.
I think that she ran pretending to be a Democrat, but really was a Republican. And once she got in, then she could push her Republican
Well,
agenda.
she got money. She was getting money left and right.
Absolutely. And that's what we got to watch for. People who say that they're this political party and then they win and they're really not. They're of the opposition. So
Right, right.
anyway, they'll try those shenanigans, but I'm not worried about it so much. All right, it's your turn, Linda.
It is?
Yep.
Okay. I heard the Pope is having mass in Chicago on June 14th.
Yes.
Are you seeing anything unusual happening at the event?
No. I've got to find out where it's going to be. I'd love to see it. The answer is I don't see any violence. Security is going to be really super tight.
Also for Trump's birthday thing.
There you go. And that's exactly why they're doing it.
Right.
Not because of Trump's birthday, but it's a kind of a protest against Trump's
There'll
birthday.
be protesters, but they're not going to.
Not going to. Um, this Pope, I mean, oh, Andrew just sent me a text. He said, from deep within my heart and soul, I thank both you and Linda.
Oh, he's so sweet.
He's a very nice guy. Um,
And he's Greek. I bet you if we go to his house, he got some good food.
ooh, well,
Notice how I always think in terms of food.
so you know what? I'll make a trip. We'll take a journey south to Palm Springs, knock on the door and say, okay, what are you going to make for us?
What's to eat? What's for chow?
On Grandma's spirit, because we're here.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry. The Pope coming here.
I'm going to throw real quick on this.
There'll be some protests, but you know, I pulled a car. Look, I pulled the sun.
That means shining the truth and the light.
Yes. Um, this Pope is going to be a Pope for peace. I mean, he came publicly and said that, that marriage was a man and a woman. I don't know exactly what he said in family values, but he still, though, opened the church to LGBTQ people. So, he's going to do a lot of reformation in the church and give women an increased role. So, what'd you pull?
The sun.
Same thing. Yay.
We got it. There will be evil lurking around it, but it's not going to be able to break through. The
You're
sun is too bright.
okay.
Now, let me just look at the parade itself. Donald Trump's parade.
Oh, hold on. While you're looking at that, I can show you what I see. Here, I still got this t-shirt here. It's nothing burger.
Linda G predicts not. I don't have those for sale, you guys. I could make up some, I guess.
Well, this is when we did our thing here in Chicago.
Yeah.
Uh, so
Now, here's a cut. Could something even happen that they decide they can't do it?
see, I'm glad you brought that up because whenever I concentrate on that parade, I'm not seeing a parade, or if there is, it's just tiny. It's
There's
like,
that tower.
yeah, it's like, um,
Something could happen that it it doesn't take effect, or if it does, there is some big, huge outcome. Did you
Yeah.
see that man in Colorado that threw gasoline bottles on people and burnt them?
Oh, oh
They were
my.
protesting the uh, the the Jews that were still being held. They wanted the release, and it was a small crowd. It wasn't huge, and he threw those bottles. It was just terrible.
Wow.
Just terrible.
It is. It's really. Um. Yeah, I'm saying the same thing about that parade. It, it, it just feels like I can't describe it. It just feels like either it's not going to happen, like you said, or there's just something about it that doesn't bring it to fruition, or
Something make not with Leo,
no, no, no,
not with
no.
Trump. Yeah,
Trump. Something big is going to happen with that parade. I'm telling you.
yeah.
Yeah, I get the same thing. It's almost
And it might not directly deal with the parade, but it's around that arena, something.
it's like an uneasiness.
Yeah,
All right. Was that one yours or mine? I
that
don't
was
even.
mine.
Okay. What is the future for Jake Trapper? Will he regret his book?
Oh, hell, he already is. He already is. Can you smell it?
Uh,
He already is. His numbers have gone down dramatically.
Somebody put here, I saw that subscriptions to CNN dropped 25% since he started promoting it on CNN.
Yeah.
So,
I
and
don't even really know what the book is about, except he critiques Biden. And, I will always be loyal to Biden. I don't care. Screw
me,
you.
well, I'm always a Biden person, but
Hmm.
that was really, I think this was Sheila, I can't pronounce it, she like something or another, that this person says subscriptions to CNN dropped 25%. And I'm glad that this person brought that up because a lot of these books that people are going to write that, like this one, like the Trapper book, and if a news outlet promotes it, they're going to lose business. They're going to lose viewers. They're going to lose a lot. So they're going to
Yeah.
think twice before they promote something like that.
Yeah. He's just like Comey. Somebody had Comey on the other day and I didn't watch it. Comey is a has-been.
He is. I see lawsuits about that book, by the way, that what is said is
That
not
Jake Tapper
true.
does?
I'm sorry. Yes.
That Jake Tapper? Okay.
That some of it's not true, that it's slanderous, inflammatory, whatever. And I don't know if it's a redaction, but it's going to get a lot of negative publicity because of the stuff it's saying simply is not true.
Well, and I want to
My
tell you,
psychic opinion. That's just entertainment purposes only.
I somebody just wrote and said, I'm tired of getting on my knees praying to God. Please get rid of this crazy man. Let me tell you something. This is the energy that I get when we make requests such as this, and we're not seeing anything happening just yet. My guides keep reminding me this too shall pass. And don't worry, he's not going to be in the whole 4 years. That I get. But I also want to tell you, when if you have a kid or a niece or nephew or something, and you promise them some ice cream for such and such, and they can't wait, and they're so happy when they get the ice cream because you promised it to them and you kept your promise. The realm in the Christ energy is always telling me to tell people to breathe and be quiet and allow, because the ice cream is coming. So don't keep getting on your knees asking the same thing over and over and over again. Because if a kid says, when am I going to get my ice cream? When am I going to get my ice cream? And you just want to smack the kid upside the head and say, go to your room, get out of my way. No. But you know that it's like, I told you I would get it for you. Could you just please hold on? That's that energy. They're telling me they know this too shall pass, but they want you to know they hear your prayers, but don't worry about getting on your knees praying every single day, because they've often told me this. This is years ago before I became a reader. They told me think of God as the master computer. And if you put out an energy or request, and then you take it back, you change your mind, you reevaluate it, you change it up, it's very hard for them to answer you because you keep plugging up the system. When you put it out there, you need to press go and release and stand down because that's the way your prayers get answered. So we have asked, please get rid of this crazy man, make us a better country. Boom. Press go, enter, you're done.
The other thing is, prayer is not necessarily like an Aladdin's lamp that, it's going to be answered exactly when you want it.
Yeah.
I think the other thing, being, saying prayers is proactive, absolutely. But you also have to be proactive. So what I pray is, yes, let's get our democracy back, and we will. But what can I do to help make that happen? That's how I ask.
Well, no, you're talking about a physical manifestation.
Well,
There's some people who are intubated that can't do anything physically.
I
A
understand.
prayer is an action vibrationally that creates that energy to happen. So what
I
you did, you just did.
I
What can I
understand.
do? You just did.
I understand that as well. It's about being proactive as opposed to reactive.
Yeah.
And just because it might not happen the exact way we want it to happen doesn't mean it's not going to take
But
place.
always remember this, thy will be done.
That's right.
Thy will be done.
And what lesson
And
is
have faith. It involves faith. Have faith that they have heard your. So lots of times people are so shocked. I didn't realize that God actually listened to me. But it took a while before something manifests, like your friend Andrew.
right? And what lesson is in it for us? Why is this happening? What lesson are we supposed to learn from this? And that's how I look at it as well. And that's what I ask Spirit. What lesson is in this for us?
To have faith.
Absolutely.
To
Absolutely.
have faith. You ask something and know it will be done.
Right. All right. We got time for just a few more, or
Well, yeah. My
okay.
sister's coming for lunch.
Tell Debbie I said hello.
I
And
will.
I got to call her. She sent me the most beautiful card. I think I told you about it. It was
Yeah,
a
you told me about it.
really cool. Okay. Edith Para says Trump is asking Peter Thiel to create a database for every American to see who supports Trump or not. Will Trump succeed in this project?
I don't see Peter Thiel succeeding in it.
I don't either.
It's hearsay, it's nothing. And when the new administration comes in, all of this will be burnt to a crisp.
And, the last I thought, the way we vote is secret, and that the government can't take reprisals against us for criticizing the government, speaking out against it, or for voting. So,
Right. Well, we know what the rule of law is. He just doesn't know.
well, he's gonna learn that presidents aren't above the rule of law. And I see the Supreme Court reversing their decision on presidential immunity. They're
Oh,
gonna
I saw that too.
Yeah, strong definitions on, what's personal, what's presidential. No, if you are violating the law, then you're not immune.
There you go.
It's
There you
simple.
go.
All righty, your turn.
So an abortion law passed by the Republican governor and Republican ran Iowa House and Senate be reversed after the 2026 election. Is that the one where there's some abortion thing that came up and then the totally Republican Supreme Court reversed it and now you can't get an abortion. Might have been Georgia even. All this will be reversed in within
I'll
two
be
years.
reversed because at some point, a lot sooner than later, Roe v. Wade will be upheld again.
Yeah. And
So,
someone just said, please, what has happened? What's happening for Trump? When will he be removed? When? How? This is the other thing. In that panic, you create a resistance. Just tell the universe thank you and don't pay attention to nothing that he does. Just know this too shall pass. I know it sounds like, how could you say that we're drowning?
we're really
But
not
it
drowning.
will happen.
we're really not drowning. Our heads are above water, and the water is not going to get any deeper than this. But we have to, pray, take action, speak up, whatever. Write your congressman, even if you, are in a wheelchair. There's things you can do.
Right.
Um, it was funny. I was feeling a little bit down for the past couple days, a little bit in the doldrums, and then I had to pull my pants down, look at the ring around my butt from sitting on the pity pot. And I was talking to Marina Shelton she's part of our community in Canada, scheduling a show. And I said, boy, I said, I'm so happy with Canada. The king came and spoke. I said, 5 years ago, everybody would have been up in arms about it. I said, and then you all have got Carney. I said, it's like, whoa. I said, I have to say I'm a bit envious because, Canada has saved their democracy. And um, I said, there's times when you think, boy, what would it be like to live in Canada? And she said, Mel, what's going on in the United States, this too shall pass. And
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
and I was like, thank you, Marina. And I know it will.
Yeah.
But sometimes, when we get hung up in that, oh my God, what's going on here? Da, 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 da,
Yeah,
da, da.
that's like me with cancer. I was walking down the path, I'm begging for my life, and the man said to me, uh, you know there's no such thing as death because I've seen it, you know. And I said, yeah, you're right. And then I felt totally embarrassed and I gave my life over. Into thy hands I commenced my spirit. And that's when something happened to me that was so profound. But I meant it with every core of my fiber.
And
And that's when that wind hit me and it said, thy will be done. So what I did was gave up that human consciousness and went to the higher consciousness and said, Father, we've asked you, we know you got this handled.
that happened to me on the airplane going to Africa. I was diagnosed, and then 3 days later, I was on my way to Africa. And I told you about it. I was in the bathroom on the airplane,
Yeah,
and I was worried, and I was like, ah. And this incredible sense of peace came over me, like a sense of peace I have never
that's
had.
them. I've had that too.
Yeah, I had it with this surgery, but not like that time. It was this incredible sense of peace.
Yeah.
And I was like, I offer it up. And then when I went back to sit down, I was sitting next to a surgeon from Germany who was going to Tanzania to do head and neck surgery. And
Right.
and then she kind of said, it's going to be okay. But it was so I like the fact you brought that up because, when you get in despair, like I did the past couple of days, and you get frustrated and you get this and that, you just remember that if you stay hung up on that, it's going to feed.
It feeds. That's why, no, don't say when, where. Like people want answers. And I'm telling you. And here's the other thing. I was just talking to Arthur, who worked for Jeannie Dixon. Was it Jeannie Dixon?
Dean Dixon, yeah.
And I saw an article and they were saying she said the United States was going to hell in a handbasket. So I wrote him, I said, well, that's weird. And he said, you know what? He worked with her as a journalist. He said that's the one thing she hated was journalists that stretched the truth or made stories up. So be careful what you read because a lot of it can be made up.
That's true. That's exactly true. So, it's okay to get frustrated and, when, where, whatever, but just continue to move forward.
Just know that your ice cream is coming.
There you go.
There you go.
Not be as much as you want or when you want it.
And they might have forgot the sprinkles, but
And they might have, yeah, right. They might have not put it in the waffle cone, but
yeah. I remember one time a girlfriend invited me over and she married this guy that was the worst human being on earth. He would break up with her so he could hear her cry. And he would call her just to put her through hell. So she calls me, she's crying hysterically. I'm like, snap out of it. I said, this is what you're going to do. I want you to turn some music on. And when he calls you again, and he will, I want you to be very upbeat and happy and tell him you'll call him back and don't call him. And so it was confusing to her, but she listened to me. So he called and she said, oh, hey, hi. Hey, listen, can I call you right back? and then click. Okay. She didn't call. He went berserk, crazy. So she ends up marrying him, which I would have not recommended.
Oh,
But she invited me over to dinner because I thought, I should get to know him. And I went to their house and I brought a cake because I asked her, what do you want me to bring? She said dessert. So I bought a nice cake at the baker's. And I bring the cake in and he looks at it. He looks at her. He said, I told you no sweets. And she was like this, like, okay. I'm sorry, Linda. And I picked up that cake. I said, that's okay. And I just threw it in the garbage.
that's what I would have done. No, I would have put it on his head.
I just threw it in the garbage. And she had made some food that he thought was too fattening, but he ate all of it plus some. And she was like kissing his arm, trying to make up for it. I
Oh,
never went back there. I
no.
lost my friendship with her because I couldn't bear seeing it.
Yeah, that's classic abuse is what that is.
Oh, it was terrible.
Just take your power.
Okay, well, thank you so much, my sweets. I don't hear from you anymore. I used to always hear from you.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? Then I'll call you 5 times a day.
So, I was watching that. I watched that Madeira because I need something to lighten up the load. And Joe, Joe had that wife that was a streetwalker. And he tells his son, that was his son's mother. Yeah, he says, I took your mom to the doctor, and the doctor said, no more sex. She needs to lay off the sex for a while. So I asked him, what the dentist say?
I
And he
love.
said to the Joe, he said, your mama worked so hard, poor thing. He says, I buried her in the stomach, so give her rear a proper rest. That's pretty raunchy, but it's so raunchy, but
I
I
love
don't
it.
know why I bust out laughing.
And I love the funny things you sent me. The last one I sent about the bipolar, and
Yeah,
I sent it to everybody.
yeah,
No, I think of you all the time. I just, for the past, week, I've just kind of been in the doldrums a little bit.
yeah, but you're back to work too, right?
I am, but I took off. I had to take off Saturday and I had to take off Thursday because, you know, um, I'm not feeling sick like I was before the surgery, but when things kind of part of the healing process is the bowel can be rather unpredictable.
Oh boy, that's interesting.
So I have to be near a bathroom,
Yeah.
too much information. But that kind of put me, in the doldrums a little bit. And, just thinking, um, I'm feeling sorry for myself. I just want to throw the towel in or whatever. And so I
And
just,
that's not connected with the realm because,
no, it's not.
you're alive.
Right. And I'm happy to be alive, but I just kind of had to sort through all of that
Yeah.
and just work through it. And when it gets like that for me, I just kind of go into that cocoon for a
Yeah.
bit and then I come out of it. So it wasn't a slide. I just kind
I
of,
hope you're going to be okay for the trip Deb's taking with you.
oh, I'm going to be fine.
Okay.
I'm going to go see the surgeon today um, at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, I think. And I'm going to be fine for Mount Shasta. I'm working on it. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
And I think they've already got us slated to cook for all the volunteers.
Oh, you are? I didn't hear anything about it.
I think um, I think Roll Zero help. There's people that are gluten free and this and that, so it's kind of hard to cook for 11 people when you don't know everybody's, who can eat what and who can't. So I thought I would make either mustacholi, uh, some with cheese and meatballs, and some without, and some gluten free. Either that or maybe a rigatoni bolognese for people who can eat meat, and then those who can't, I'll make it the other way. So I don't know. I'll figure it out.
Wow, that'll be a treat.
There you go. So
I'll
I,
bring some potato chips.
there you go. Potato salad.
I'll
I
bring a potato. Now, potato salad's hard to make. I don't want to go up there and cook.
maybe what we should do is just, you know,
Order
take it
pizza.
there. You know what? That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm looking forward.
Okay. Bye, you guys.
Bye bye. Next week, my channel. Tell Debbie I said hi. Linda's sister is beautiful. She's wonderful, just like Linda.
Oh,
And
thank you.
and give Nicole a hug.
I sure will. I sure will.
Hey, real quick, how's the dog?
The dog's doing great.
Hey,
You can barely see his suture anymore, and he's doing fantastic.
I've been watching dog videos, so that's what I've been doing for the
I
past.
love to watch those dog videos.
All right,
All right,
sweetie.
honey, you take care.
Love you.